Have you ever experienced a moment where your entire world seemed to crumble instantly? Imagine discovering that the person you pledged your life to has been living a double life. What would you do if your spouse confessed to multiple affairs and then filed for divorce, leaving you feeling utterly betrayed and alone? That's precisely what happened to me. This is my story of heartbreak, resilience, and unexpected redemption. Stay with me until the end, because you won't want to miss the final chapter. It's a story that goes from devastation to an uplifting conclusion you won't see coming. And trust me, the last part will break your heart in ways you can't imagine. Picture this. My marriage, which I thought was rock solid, suddenly shattered. Out of nowhere, my wife demanded a divorce. But that wasn't the worst part. She admitted to having multiple affairs throughout our marriage. I was blindsided, devastated, and felt utterly betrayed. Everything I knew about love and trust was turned upside down at that moment. I questioned everything about our relationship and myself. How could I not see the signs? How could she do this to us? But life has a way of surprising you. Just when I thought I could never trust or love again, someone walked into my life and showed me what genuine love and respect look like. This new relationship was everything my marriage was not. Supportive, honest, and deeply fulfilling. And my ex-wife? She realized what she had lost too late. The regret was palpable, and her reaction when she saw me happy again with someone new was shocking. So why should you stay until the end? The last part of this story is incredibly heart-wrenching and powerful. It's a testament to the twists and turns of life and how, sometimes, the darkest times can lead to the brightest new beginnings. Let's dive into the whole story, from the painful betrayal to the surprising and heartwarming conclusion. At the 11th hour, throw away an account. Here, my wife, 35 female, and I, 38 male, were married for 10 years and had 2 elementary-aged kids. The first 7 years of the marriage were 10 out of 10 incredible, at least from my point of view. I could not have asked for a better wife and mother. The last 3 years have been much more brutal. We went to a bunch of counseling trying to get the marriage back on track, but could never really get there. I planned countless dates, read and listened to everything on improving a marriage under the sun. It helped, but there was a gap between us I could never seem to close no matter how hard I tried. In the back half of last year, she blindsided me with a divorce. I deeply loved her and was devastated. I wanted to talk her out of it. She waffled a bit but ultimately insisted on moving forward. I never got a great answer as to why she filed. I wasn't a perfect husband, to be precise. I had my faults. I could have done better, but I never cheated, was never abusive, and was a great provider. Indeed, I was 100% in trying to save the marriage these last few years. In any case, a little more than a month after she filed, she was already seeing a guy. A month after that, she had introduced our kids to him. Then later, during the discovery phase of the divorce process, she confessed to having multiple affairs starting at about the 7-year mark. One lasted at least a year, though she claimed it amounted to only a handful of encounters. I had no clue she was even capable of this. The amount of lying she did to keep all this hidden is incredible. The day I found out was the worst day of my life, but at least I finally understood why we had such difficulty connecting those last few years. It wasn't for lack of trying on my part. Fast. Forward 6 months and nearly $100,000 in lawyer bills later, and she decides to try and reconcile. She's still dating the same guy but tells me she'll dump him to work on things with me. So, what caused her a change of heart? It might be because she found out I had started dating someone awesome, by the way, or possibly because she realized how much her financial life would change with my high income exiting the picture. She claims it was because she saw how great of a dad I was when I had our kids. I sat down with her and heard her out on everything. After a decade of marriage, I felt this was the least I owed her. She took responsibility for her mistakes and gave a heartfelt apology, although she was sure to partially blame my behaviors for driving her to it. No matter how thin you slice it, every story has 2 sides. I get that, but I utterly rejected that nonsense of blaming me for her cheating. All that said, I do believe she is genuinely sorry. Ultimately, I told her no and pressed forward with the divorce, which was final a few weeks ago. For her part, she's been relentless in trying to get me to give her another chance, texting almost daily. It's worn heavy on me to see someone I cared about filled with regret and hurt so badly. I've held firm, though. There's too much damage. I don't think I could ever trust her again. Plus, I have this great new gal who's beautiful inside and out and who's been so incredibly supportive and patient. To be clear, we met well after I had been served papers. Typing this out highlights the insanity of all this for me. Who in their right mind would try and save a marriage like this? Who in the right mind would even have the guts to ask to try and fix it? I don't love her anymore, but I did love her for so long. And the kids, the co-parenting, I'll never really get away from this woman. It's hard. I'm unsure why I'm posting this. Maybe I'm making the right call to get some validation. Has anyone been through something like this before? Any advice? Ask the community for advice. You'll get some. Here we go. First, she said she would dump him only after you said yes. What part of you is not? Plan B is she not getting? I've been tempted to tell the other guy how little she thinks of him, but then I'm afraid she'll double down on trying to get back with me. Plus, he's way older than her, so I get a little satisfaction because it must be pretty gross. That's probably petty on my end. The next person says, dude, she is selfish and delusional. Be proud that you tried your best, have dignity, made the right decision, and are still civil with her. Yet someone else says, sir, you have been through two of the worst experiences a person can go through, and you have come out of them still alive, upright, and whole. Why revisit all that pain and heartache? You know, if she could do it once and keep it so well hidden, she could do it again. And she does not want to reconcile for your sake. She wants to reconcile for her selfish reasons. Walk away, don't look back, look forward. When she decided to explore other opportunities, she forgot the golden rule. If you're going to play with fire, don't get burned. Now she wants to run back to the safety of your wallet. I mean arms, because, surprise, the grass wasn't greener on the other side. It was just AstroTurf. Honestly, the fact that she's still seeing the other guy while trying to woo you is so backward. She's trying to have her cake and eat it too, except in this case, it is a rather bitter, untrustworthy, and overpriced slice of marital regret. You're right to keep moving forward. Let her enjoy the reality check that comes with a shrinking bank account and a realization that her knight in shining armor is more of a rusty old geezer. And hey, you've got a great new partner who respects you and doesn't come with a side order of infidelity. Hold on to that and keep looking forward. The best revenge is living well after all. As for advice, keep being your fantastic dad, cherish a new relationship, and let your ex wallow in the consequences of her actions. If she's drowning in regret, she built that boat and can sail it solo. What do you make of this? Moving on. Ever feel like your best friend is eyeing your life like it's the last slice of pizza at a party? Brace yourself for a tale as old as time where envy turns to betrayal faster than you can say.
Second story, my husband and best friend had an affair last year. My husband, 39, and I, 37, have been married for 7 years. We have a 5-year-old son, and he also has a 9-year-old son from his previous marriage. My best friend, 36, confessed to me that she and my husband had an affair last year that ended around Christmas time in 2023. I had noticed some distance on her part, but she always seemed to have what sounded like valid reasons. I felt like something was different with her, but I never assumed it was anything like this. We still talked and saw each other the entire time, and they did whatever they did together. And since it all ended in December, she told me now because she confessed to her husband and wanted me to hear it from him instead of him. She's filing for a legal separation from her husband, and their long talk about their marriage and why this was happening, she confessed to the affair she had with my husband. During those conversations, I guess I made the mistake of telling her about the romantic things my husband still does for me and how good he is in bed. And that's the truth. I thought her relationship was great. I was, and frankly still am, in love with him. I never had any sense that he wasn't attracted to me, wasn't interested in other people, and was cheating. She said it started in October of 2023, and it was just sex. I know she has been very dissatisfied with her own marriage and sex life with her husband because she has talked to me about it several times. At one point, she was even considering divorcing her husband. She would always say she loved her husband and was a good man, but their relationship lacked romance and he didn't satisfy her sexually. She said she flirted with him at an October children's Halloween party. She felt very attracted to him and admitted she was jealous of what I had but never considered pursuing him. Then, after the party, she decided to text my husband to ask for advice about her husband and their marriage. We're all friends and we get along, and usually I'd never feel weird about her texting my husband for a man's perspective or anything. However, in this case, I believe it was just her excuse to start texting him and talking about her dissatisfaction. She said the text progressively got more and more inappropriate until they were sexting each other. She showed me parts of their text conversations, but I didn't want to look at them. Eventually, they met up in the middle of the weekday to have sex. She said they probably met up and had sex 20 or so times. She claims they talked about it and both felt an extreme sense of guilt, so they mutually ended it around Christmas. My husband is a handsome guy. He's a people person. His job puts him in the public light here where we live. He's known in our community. He's out and about a lot because of that. It's not strange for women to flirt with him, and I'd say he is a flirty person, but somebody who knows where to draw the line. Our sex life is excellent. We make time to do things together, just the two of us. We laugh way more than we argue. I never thought he'd do this to me and my supposed best friend. This past weekend, he was on a trip with his older son. She told her husband and me this weekend because she knew my husband was away, which might give me time to process. How considerate of her to think of me. Now I feel like all my insides have been ripped out. I feel empty inside, hollow. I picked them up from the airport yesterday and didn't let on that I knew anything. He was in a good mood and acting completely normal. I told him I wasn't feeling good and immediately went straight to bed so I wouldn't have to interact with him. I'm a bad liar. I'm trying to figure out what I will do before confronting him, but I'm not sure that will be possible. I'm also worried my friend's husband will contact my husband. I haven't heard from him yet. I should probably reach out to him, but I feel so nervous. I didn't do anything wrong, but I suppose I feel guilty by proxy. It's ridiculous. Later at night, when my husband went to bed, he was rubbing on me and tried to initiate sex. Normally, I would want sex after being apart for a few days, so it's just not realistic to think I'm going to be able to put on an act for very long. Let's see what kind of words of wisdom come from the community. Reaction. Wow. It sounds like your husband and best friend took a page out of the How to Betray Everyone You Love handbook. Let's get this straight. She confessed because she was worried you'd hear it from her husband first. How noble. 12:01 and the fact that she chose a children's Halloween party to start this flirtation, classy. Nothing says I'm a responsible adult like getting hot and heavy amidst kids in superhero costumes. As for your husband, he must have gotten his acting skills from Hollywood's finest, being able to juggle a double life while still making you feel like everything is hunky-dory. Wow, your friend complaining about her lackluster marriage to you was just her way of saying, I'd like to sample what you're having. She turned your romantic anecdotes into her shopping list. And your husband? Well, he was all too eager to play the helpful marriage counselor, wasn't he? It's this version of therapy should have included more than just advice. It's mind-boggling how they managed to keep up that charade through Christmas. While you were decking the halls, they were... Well, you get the picture. The fact that he came home and acted like everything was normal is chilling. It's like living with a friendly neighborhood sociopath. Is your husband rubbing up on you while you know the truth? That's just the cherry on top. First steps, lawyer up, stat. Forget about guilt by proxy. You did nothing wrong except trust the wrong people. It's time to go complete detective on his social media and phone records. Who knows what other skeletons might be lurking in his digital closet. And hey, when you serve him those divorce papers, remind him to thank your best friend for her honesty. After all, it's the least you could do. Have you ever had a friend betray you like this? What did you do?
Conclusion. These stories illustrate the devastating impact of betrayal within marriages and friendships. In both cases, trust was shattered by infidelity, leaving emotional scars and shattered relationships in its wake. In the first story, a husband faced the revelation of his wife's affairs, prompting a divorce and eventual closure. Despite attempts at reconciliation, the damage proved irreparable, leading him to prioritize his well-being and newfound love. In the second narrative, a best friend's affair with the protagonist's husband unveiled a web of deceit and betrayal. As the protagonist grapples with the fallout, she confronts the harsh reality of fractured trust and reevaluates the authenticity of her relationships. These tales serve as cautionary reminders of the fragility of trust and the need for honesty in relationships. While the journey ahead may be daunting, confronting betrayal allows these individuals to begin to heal and rebuild their lives. If you found these stories compelling and want to explore more about navigating relationships, betrayal, and personal growth, consider subscribing to our channel for regular updates. Your support allows us to continue sharing stories that resonate and provide valuable insights into the human experience. As a creator, I have a dream to reach 1K subscribers, but to achieve that milestone, we need your help. Let's start by reaching our first goal of 100 subscribers. Subscribe to my channel, and together, let's go on this journey of exploration and understanding. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to having you as part of our community.